Dear St. Martin's, Sualigans, this proclamation here was signed on July 1st, 1863 by Governor J.D. Krull on behalf of the Dutch Kingdom, basically abolishing slavery in St. Martin, at that time considered a dependent on Curacao. I'm not going to read to you the entire proclamation, but it's a very interesting line here that I want to share with you. It says, "From off this moment, you are free persons, and you enter into society as inhabitants of the colony. Most heartily do I congratulate you with the blessings bestowed on you by the paternal care of the King. Sincerely, you may rejoice in the same, but you must make yourself worthy of this benefit." Now, on July 1st, every year since then, we in St. Martin and the other parts of the kingdom have celebrated what we know as Emancipation Day as a result of this proclamation. However, the question is that we ask ourselves today, what are we celebrating and how did we get to this? And this is what we want to talk about. As I said, we are celebrating Emancipation Day this year on July 1st. But if you remember in the proclamation, the intention on the part of the king and the representatives of the king was that you are now going to be free, but you must declare yourself worthy of such. Can you imagine that? Being born free beings, and then after being subjugated to slavery for so many centuries, now you are declared free, but to live still in the colony until further notice. And that's what we're talking about. What is Emancipation Day, July 1st, 2024? What are we celebrating, or what are we commemorating, and how did we get to this? Well, in St. Martin, the history is quite interesting. And you may know that St. Martin is the only territory within the Dutch Kingdom that celebrates it as an official holiday. And it's interesting now in 2024 that it has become part of the slavery commemoration year, and it's now part of a bigger conversation. But I want to tell you that in St. Martin, that journey to this day becoming an official holiday, still today the only official holiday within the kingdom, had a long journey. In St. Martin, for years, the grassroots movements, and in particular the unions, have been asking for this day to be celebrated, to be recognized as a Labor Day, meaning that we would look at this day to say, this is the day on which it was declared that our ancestors were going to no longer labor for free. And maybe we should celebrate this day as a day of recognizing the free labor that we had given during the period of slavery. And so in 1984 and other years before that, there were clamors, and you can see here an article in the Newsday newspaper where the unions were asking to make July 1st a national holiday. So that has been for years. And finally, in 2011, we in St. Martin were able to celebrate July 1st as a national holiday. And I want to give you that story of how that actually happened. When I got the opportunity and the privilege to serve as Minister of Education, Culture, and Youth Affairs in 2010, I said one of the first things that I was going to do, if elected, was going to pick up that call by the unions and other groups to make July 1st a national holiday, as a cultural holiday to celebrate. And so I started that journey, beginning immediately on October 10th, from the day we hit office. We started to look at what was done before, who were involved before, how do we go about writing the laws, because we're not going to wait until Parliament came with the law. We were going to propose to Parliament the law to make July 1st an official holiday, and that's what we did. But something interesting happened when we started, because we had been in our brand new constitutional status. Some of the institutions that were necessary in the chain of command were not even yet in place when we started the journey. And so we got ahead of ourselves. And at some point, we had to go back to the drawing board and to wait until the, um, the advisory council, right, that would give us the correct advice on how to proceed with our proposal. And one of the things that came out of that conversation was that what was going to be the impact? You're going to have another cultural holiday, but what would be the real impact on the society? Now, for us, who had been asking for this for years and recognizing the value of our ancestors' sweat, blood, and tears, there was going to be no discussion of an economic impact. But for many others within our society, we were required to produce an economic impact study. Imagine that. You're going to commemorate the day on which your ancestors had been slaving for free, giving away their blood, sweat, and tears to be able to build an empire in the kingdom. And here were people asking you to produce an economic impact study. But we did that. We did that because we wanted to make sure that you were going to get this day, and at all costs, we were going to do it right. And it turned out the economic impact study showed that, in fact, commemorating, celebrating July 1st as an official cultural holiday had a positive impact on our economy. And for that, we were glad. But we were determined that either way, we were going to have July 1st become an official holiday. And so after months of back and forth, writing the laws, getting in place with the different people around the table, talking to the council of the Economic Council, talking to the different advisory bodies, we were able to go to Parliament and present a proposal that would make July 1st a national holiday in St. Martin. Now, it is an official holiday. What you do with that day is up to you as a family, as individuals, as a nation. It's up to you because it's your day. You deserve to have this day off. But what we want you to do as you commemorate July 1st, because you know it has become bigger than any one of us, we ask that you take some time. Take some time to think about the ancestors who had given all those years, decades, centuries of free blood, sweat, tears, their bodies, so that we could build this great thing called the Dutch Empire, the Dutch Kingdom. Honor the ancestors by taking a moment of silence to think about them, but also think of the future generations. The process of removing yourself from the colony is not complete. For us, emancipation is a process, and it is not complete until you become a free, sovereign people again. And so, Emancipation Day for us is also looking towards the future. How do we honor the sacrifices that were made to get us here so that in the future we can return our people to the free sovereign beings that they were before they were colonized? Remember, the proclamation said that you now enter as free persons into society as inhabitants of the colony. We're still in the colony, but we're not yet free.